This week on London Real, we have Hannah Witton, a YouTube vlogger on gender, sexuality, and relationships.
So I made a video called Do I Look Like a Slut? There was a lot of discussion and debate in the comments and people were sharing it. I hate it when teenagers think it's cool to not care about things. Cases of sexual abuse are all treated as isolated incidents. Even if I don't think I'm a role model, other people still look up to me. What's important for me is like that honesty and authenticity. Hey, blah, 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 cunt. Where did that come from, you tiny little elf? Ooh, yeah, great, naked girls. We're gonna talk today about feminism. The main question I get is, am I normal?
London Real presents Hannah Witton, The Truth About Sex.
This is amazing.
And we are back on London Real. My guest this week is YouTuber Hannah Witton. And I met Hannah on the stage at my TEDx talk that I dropped recently. And just as an aside, thank you so much for all the love and wonderful comments that I've been receiving on that video. I just never expected that people would be so supportive and so happy. So thank you so much for that. If you haven't watched it, you can click on the link below. But I met Hannah because she gave a TED talk on the same day I did. And it was all about some of the videos that she releases. And one of them was a very controversial one called Do I Look Like a Slut? And by releasing that video, she received a lot of hate out there, but she also got feedback from an audience that wasn't the normal one that watched her videos. And so her talk was just kind of about that nuance, and it was really fascinating. So I really wanted Hannah on the show. I actually met her at the YouTube studios like 2.5 years ago when we both were taking a course as far as how to do video cameras and stuff. And she's a fascinating young lady that really releases a lot of very poignant and interesting videos talking about gender and sex. She actually has a degree and wrote her dissertation on the history of sexology. So really fascinating and really intelligent. So I hope you enjoyed this talk. I hope to have more YouTubers on the show and people that really make their living and their profession is talking to camera. A bit like me, we're more of the kings of long form content, but we all have something in common. If we try to put our faces on your screens every week, there must be something kind of strange in our brains. So there you go, there's Hannah, and I think you're gonna get a lot listening to her and a lot of insights as far as what goes on in her world. And it's nice to have some women on the show too. So there you go. A lot of you have been asking how you can get the London Real episodes every week before everyone else, and that's a good question. We have a special list of premium VIP members that get emails every Sunday at noon GMT time right to their email box, and you can click through without any pop-ups and watch the videos directly. Some of you might actually be on that list, but it might be going to your spam folder or in Gmail. It might not be going to your primary folder, so do a search. It comes from me, Brian Rose, and like I said, it comes to you every Sunday with the clean link that goes right for the whole video. If you're not on the list, then give us your email on the website or on one of the pop-ups, and we'll get the link to you right away. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes, and then you'll be there every week getting those. And this is just so we can have a list so we can get in contact with you when we have our next live event here in London. We'll get you the invites first thing. We're going to get you the Dan Pena blog posts before they come out for everyone else, and a lot of other ways that we can be in contact with you. So there you go. Get hooked up. Get on that list as soon as possible. There'll be a link right here where you can click and just give us your details, and we'll get that. No spam ever, nothing crazy right now. It's just 1 or 2 emails a week with all the information on London Real. So there you go. It's a beautiful day here in London. When the sun's out, everything's good in England. When the weather is right, it's the best place and the best city in the world, in my opinion. I want to give a shout out to the guys that give us our coffee every morning, and those are the folks at Bulletproof. A lot of you have been really enjoying the blogs that Dave Asprey, the Bulletproof exec, has written for London Real about the Bulletproof Diet book, which is just a fascinating real history of Dave and how he came upon the way he eats and everything that he puts in his body now. And so there's more of these blogs coming out. Everyone has loved watching them and reading them. So go to our blog section to pick up those. Also, you can go to the website orderbulletproofdietbook.com and get a bunch of free things like the Bulletproof Chef download, 10% off your orders. So check that out, and it's a fantastic book as well. So there you go. I'll be releasing a lot of my vlogs and videos to camera soon, and I'll be answering questions on one of them today. So if you have more questions for me, I'm going to be answering any of them that you have every week. So just submit me those questions. You can put some here below, or send them to me on Twitter, and I will answer your questions every week. More of those vlogs coming out. And as usual, if you're not subscribed on YouTube, just please take a second right now and click here on the button below and subscribe. That way it notifies you when all of my new videos come out, and lets YouTube know that we're serious here at London Real about what we're doing. So there you go. Big love. If you have any guest suggestions, send them to me, brian@londonreal.tv. Lots of cool things happening, great things happening too, and more events coming up later this year. And that's it. I'm now going to leave you with Ms. Hannah Witton. This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Hannah Witton, who is a 22-year-old British female known for her controversial and sometimes trivial weekly videos on YouTube that spread positive messages to over 100,000 subscribers about sex, body image, gender, and sexuality. I shared the stage with Hannah at our TEDx talk like 3 weeks ago, where you spoke very openly and honestly about the reaction you received to one of your videos titled, quote, "Do I Look Like a Slut?" I thought it was fascinating, really interesting. I want to talk more about that. It was also an incredible day, an incredible experience at TED. You are originally from Manchester. You have a degree in history. I have read your dissertation, or some of it, 12,000 words, and it's on Google Docs.
Yeah, I uploaded it to Google Docs.
Which is very cool. Hannah, welcome to London Real.
Thank you for having me.
It's really a pleasure to have you. I was just talking in our short video that it's really strange because we really couldn't come from different backgrounds. You know, I'm American in my 40s, you're British in your 20s. Our audiences are probably completely different. We talk about different things. I put videos up that are 2 hours. You put videos up that are 3 minutes to 7 minutes. Yet we are united by this platform called YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Right? And like the other thing I was thinking about today is that it's changed our lives significantly. I saw videos you did 2 years ago, and you're a different person.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, and I am too. I mean, Jesus, you can't even talk about how my life has changed just because of this company that Chad Hurley made and everything that Google turned it into. So I want to get into that, but I want to talk a little bit about TED and TEDx. I was you and me, and I think maybe 16 other people that day.
Yeah, there was a lot of speakers.
There was a lot, I know. And we were supposed to be there from the morning, and when there was a breakfast, and we had to watch all of the people. And I was like third to last. You were in the...
I was in the middle.
In the middle.
I liked my positioning.
But I was just, people wanted to come and see me, but I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I just needed to kind of calm and focus, and it's a long time to kind of build up the anticipation. And I came back the next day, and in the other room over there, I did a video, and I talked about the TEDx talk. I think I called my video "How I Aced My TEDx Talk," which I think is a bit presumptuous. I don't even remember giving it because it was so much like adrenaline and
so much.
All the lights and things like that. But one of the things I said on the video is I said everybody should give a TEDx talk, and it's not about that 18-minute video you're going to have the rest of your life and sitting on the stage in the red circle. It's about, for me, all the practice I got, all the people I met, all the cool people, right? Yeah. So it was more than that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I know that the actual event was 1 day,
right?
But it is stretched way longer than that, because Alex probably came, I don't know when he asked you to do the talk, but maybe 2 or 3 months before the actual day. And then even now, I'm still in touch with people who I met on that day and like working on exciting things with them. So it's something that it's just like from 1 day, and it just spreads out, and it's a mini revolution.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's not what I thought it would be. I had to push myself to do it. I'm sure you did the same.
Yeah.
Because it for most people, like a TED talk, they're like, no, I couldn't do it.
I'm obsessed with TED.
Oh,
as
you
well.
are? Okay.
Yeah, full on like TED fangirl. So I couldn't say no. Like I knew when the opportunity was given to me, I was like, I have to do this, even though I was just shitting a brick.
Right.
But
I said to myself like 4 or 5 months ago, I was like, dude, you're doing this show, you've been broadcasting, interviewing amazing people. You should have had a TED Talk already. So I was just like,
why haven't I been given a TED Talk?
I know, right? So I was like, you better go find one. And then I did it, and I talked to Alex, and I was telling, Alex Mary is the guy that organized the thing. He was super hands-on, super impressive guy. I wrote an email to like TEDx people telling him that like he's fantastic.
Oh,
and
he'll like that.
Yeah, he'll like that. And so big love to Alex. He spent like multiple nights in this studio watching my talk turn from, quite honestly, dog shit into something that hopefully people people like, but it was really bad. And people assume that just because you're on YouTube and you have millions and millions of views that you know how to talk to an audience.
It's so different.
Right?
Like a live audience where you have to talk for a continuous like 10 minutes rather than just on your own in front of a camera, just saying line after line after line with breaks and ums and ahs and all of that. Although not with this, because this is continuous.
Yeah, it's continuous. It's a little different. But yeah, you're right. With editing and everything, then you can put out what you want. But
my videos are heavily edited.
Well, yeah, and you don't hide that fact. So
no, jump cut.
Yeah, jump cut. But I mean, like that's a style now that is almost, people expect that kind of jump cut. And so
it's boring if there's no jump cuts.
I know. You need even like a second is too long. You need jump cut.
Well, one of my friends, he actually has developed being able to do one-take videos, and they're still about 5 minutes long, and he talks really fast, and there's no real hesitation. He's always got something to say, and they're amazing. Like, I'm in awe of him.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I do kind of one-take pre-rolls where I walk around London and introduce the guest. I'll do one for you before this, and I've gotten a little better at that, but it's a skill.
Yeah.
And then to talk fast, and then you don't know what to do, and that. But you have a bit of a theater background, which I think helped you a little bit.
Yeah, like I did it in school, but that's about it, really. Yeah.
Okay. Can we talk about your TEDx talk, because it was definitely one of the best ones of the day, and it was really poignant and an experience you really had, and it was interesting. I watched the video today, and can we just talk about the video and what you expected the video to happen, and then what happened, and then the talk?
Okay, so start with the video.
Yeah.
Okay, so I made a video called "Do I Look Like a Slut?"
When was this?
October
Okay.
2014.
And you had already been posting videos on YouTube for 2 years before that?
Like 3 years, yeah.
3 years, okay.
It's coming up to 4 years now, yeah.
And if you had to typify your videos, are they all to deal with sexuality and sexual identity? But it's some.
It's because that's an extension of my personality. That's what it is. It's a personality channel. Like, it's all stuff that's related to me. So it's things that I care about or things that I am doing.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. People always say to me, like, how do you decide on your guests? And I'm like, I do it on people I want to talk to.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to remove.
Things I want to talk about, yeah.
Right, it's hard not to be, if it was all about sexuality, it might seem fake, right?
Well, not really, because there's lots of channels that, there's a couple channels that I know that do that, and that's the focus of the channel, and it works really well, because it's like a show.
Okay.
Whereas mine is just kind of like my thoughts, and just if I've been having conversations with friends recently on a certain topic, then that tends to be then something that I'll put into a video.
Okay.
Like, I've been thinking and talking a lot about this recently, and I'm going to share this.
So you'd been thinking about this concept?
Yeah. So I've been lots of discussions and just like thoughts with friends about slut shaming in general, and and slut shaming and victim blaming. And that kind of thing, and especially kind of like based on a lot of comments that I received as well, because obviously I talk about sex a lot. I have quite a crude sense of humor, so I like making dirty jokes and finding the sexual nature in things, and a lot of people are like, "You're so sex obsessed, you slut."
So you used to get that anyway?
Yeah, like
on YouTube comments, on Twitter, or
kind of like there was one that really stood out that was on Instagram that was hilarious, where I was in Lisbon, and I was at this art gallery, and the artist had like made big models of Mickey Mouse with like a giant erection.
Right, they do that in Spain
and
and Portugal.
Yeah, and I took a photo of it, like, because it was hilarious.
Right.
And just saying Lisbon is very sexual. And some guy replies being like, "You think everything is sexual, you slut." And I was like, whoa, okay.
What do you do with something like that?
Well, I don't normally do this, and I'm not proud of what I did with this comment. I took a screenshot of it and posted it on Twitter, and then loads of people came to my defense and started attacking that guy in the Instagram comments, which I then felt really bad about.
Okay. They attacked him on Instagram, or they attacked him on Twitter?
On Instagram.
Oh, on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
then like the comments on that Instagram photo were just like essays of people arguing with each other. I was just like, oh, whoops.
Right.
What have I done?
So you did some shaming of your own, of him or her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's interesting because there are these little like posses that kind of, when they follow you along, then sometimes you don't even have to say anything, and they'll jump all over.
Yeah, I can't even remember what I said. I think I just like posted a picture of the comment.
Okay.
And,
Okay, so you're used to these comments.
So this is something that I thought about a lot. And then it also, I was trying to think of a way that it could be relatable to people who aren't YouTubers, who don't put themselves out there. So like everyday experiences with this.
Right, which are most people, obviously.
Yeah, and I remember over the summer, I was at this party, and it was a group of new people. Like my friend had invited me, and I didn't know any of his friends. And I remember getting ready before the party with these girls that I literally just met, and one of them like put on this dress and was just like, "Is this too slutty? Do I look like a slut? Like, oh, is this?" And because I didn't really know her, like, I didn't feel like I was really in a position to just project all my views on her about why that was a problematic thing to say. But then it was something that was just like playing in my mind a lot, and I just wrote it down in my phone. Do I look like a slut? And then just one day I woke up and I was just like, today is the day I'm making this video because I have some free time and I'm ready now. And
that's how a video happens. It's
usually
been dwelling in your mind. You
yeah.
put some notes, then you decide today we're going to shoot it.
Today it's happening.
And that could take, I don't think people understand, but that could take hours and hours because you have different shots, you have different outfits.
Yeah. So normally my videos are just like, just a piece to camera.
Right,
which
jump
is,
cut to camera.
Yeah, which is really easy. But this one obviously I was wearing different outfits and doing cutaways with it. So it took a little bit longer. It's quite fun to dress up as well. I enjoyed that.
Did you know it was going to be big? Because it's had like 700 and some odd thousand views.
Yeah.
Did you know it was going to be that big?
No.
You never did.
And I mean, when it first went out, I realized that it was doing really well, and there was a lot of discussion and debate in the comments, and people were sharing it. And I upload weekly, and so that went out one week, and then I uploaded next week's video just like all like normal, and then it was actually in the second week that it was live that it got featured on Upworthy. Okay. So in my head I was like, that video's done, and then suddenly it just went, and I was like, oh, okay.
And so Upworthy is the thing that made it go. Okay, and have you experienced that before, where a video will get kind of, I guess, do they call it going viral anymore? Or is that kind of old news?
I think.
Do they?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that my video went viral though, even though it's like it went viral like relative to my other videos.
Right.
But like it's on 600 or 700,000 views. It's not in the realms of like hundreds of millions of views. Do you know what I mean? Right.
Okay. But it got that second wind of people that were looking at it. And when that happened on Upworthy, did you get a change in tone? And then what happened? And what was the talk about? The TED talk?
Yeah. So my talk was about how I've been making sex ed videos for a while, and I really believed that I was doing something good, that I was playing my part in society and creating this conversation that would lead to positive change about attitudes towards sex and things like that. But then I kind of like slowly realized that the people who were watching my videos and sticking around agreed with me already.
Right.
Because there was like, my audience was a certain type of person, and I kind of noticed that when in the Do I Look Like a Slut video, I posted out onto my social media being like, what is a slut? How would you define a slut? And a lot of people came back to me being like, a patriarchal construct to things like that. And I was like, you're my kind of person.
Right,
like,
your audience.
Yeah.
Yes men.
Yeah, these are my people. They're like, it's a word used to shame women for their sexual choices. And I was like, yes. So yeah, it's a certain type of person that was watching my videos. And then that video blew up and reached new audiences who didn't know me, didn't necessarily sympathize with me, didn't hold the same worldviews as me. And so my talk was all about how actually really creating change is all about branching out and talking to different people. And the kind of like flip side of that, the sad side of that, is the abuse, the hate that I received, because I was reaching people who completely disagreed with me and just wanted to send me really abusive, scary comments.
Right.
But then there was the really positive side of it that I mentioned in the talk as well, about how a lot of people messaged me being like, that video was great and I'd never thought about it that way before, and you've made me think about things differently, and that's changed my mind. And so that was just amazing to me, the fact that I was just realized, oh, I'm changing something here. Like, this is amazing. Yeah.
Right. And before that video, you might have thought you were changing something, but maybe in retrospect, you were just kind of preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the one where you broke out and found some kind of a new audience.
Yeah, definitely. And it's now like, it's kind of petered back out again. But there's definitely there is definitely like a handful of people who stick around and watch my videos and don't agree with everything that I say. And that's really nice. That sounds really strange, but I really like it. I like that I recently did a video about pornography, and I like that I will put that out there, and then there'll be people in the comments not blindly agreeing, but really like discussing and debating and throwing their opinions around.
Okay. And you used to not like that or not get that?
It was there, but usually it was like a lot of people agreeing with me and just fleshing out what I'd already said. And then one person saying something nasty and then everyone else jumping to my defense. But now it's just a bit more balanced and conversational.
Okay, so you learned something there.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that there's like, maybe you could do like a bell curve, and I find with our videos, you get, the people that agree with you and they want to reiterate what you're saying, and then you get the people that are having a heated discussion back and forth, and then you get like the outlier, completely mad people, and then you get the mad people that just want to fight with each other.
Yeah.
And then these people are having fights about something completely unrelated, about, the Middle East, and you're like, what are you guys doing?
Oh yeah, yeah. I made a video with one of my friends, and I'm Jewish and she's Jewish, and I think we both call ourselves Jewish. And so we did this funny video on my channel where we found this like how much of a Jew are you quiz.
Okay.
And it was just like all this Jewish trivia, and we tried to answer the questions. She's way more knowledgeable than me about things, and it was just like this really silly video of us just talking about Jewish stuff.
Okay.
And the comments, oh my goodness,
it was a lightning rod.
It was just like, how can you call yourself a Jew with the things that Israel's doing? And I was like, like, I'm not Israeli.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
And then people got in these really heated debates about Israel-Palestine, which is like valid discussion to be having, but it's that little spark, like that video just like sparks completely, like an entirely different discussion.
Have you heard of this concept, is that when people give you a nasty comment, that it's about them having a bad day and it has nothing to do with you? Have you ever heard people say things like that?
Yeah, I think there's some truth in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird when you get these like videos. Like, funny, I was on the Max Kaiser show, the Kaiser Report, and he has a program on RT, and it's at the London Bridge, or Tower Bridge is behind him, and he uploaded the video on RT, and then I ripped my half of it and put it on my channel. And so it's basically the same content, but if you look at the comments, it's like crazy, because I got the London Real posse over here that are like you said, maybe supportive, or maybe like, yeah, Brian, that's good. And then you got his posse, which he's always calling out the bankers and kind of all this stuff. And so these people were having these massive arguments about something, and they weren't even talking about me. They were talking about like these hate issues between them. And I was just like, wow, these are, I don't know, what's going on here?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
The comment section is a dangerous and wonderful and mysterious place.
Do you go there? Do you always go there?
Yeah. When a video has first been uploaded, like within 48 hours, I see everything.
Okay.
And I like to kind of gauge people's like first reactions to it. And then after that, it's not usually because I don't want to, but it's just because I don't have the time to like keep tabs on everything. Okay, and
you'll interact in those first 48 hours? And
yeah, usually.
Okay, and then you kind of leave it just because you're busy.
Yeah.
That's probably healthy anyways, right? Just let it go. And talk to me about the hate side, because you kind of covered it in the TEDx talk.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get those really nasty, vile, I guess it is like a bell curve when you get these like 3 percentiles out here that are saying these things. Like, what did you learn from that?
I learned that I'm actually kind of stronger than I thought I was, because they just kind of wasn't really affected by them. My brain was like processing that they were awful and processing that they were scary and sexist and just like, whoa, why would any human think that that was okay to say to another human being? But I think I have this like filter system in my brain now, or there's like some sort of protection blanket that I have that means that I see them, but I don't ever internalize them. Like they never, I don't know. And I think I'm just really lucky, because I know a lot of people who like have hate comments on their videos, and it really, really gets to them. Really?
Even experienced YouTubers?
I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes, yeah. I think some people have like certain things that they're insecure about. So if someone like points that out, that's like, oh, ooh.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Do you think that you can learn the most from your haters? I'm sure you heard that expression. Is that true, or how do you? What's your takeaway from the haters? No.
Just completely ignore them, because like there's a difference between hate comments and then like negative comments that are constructive.
Right. Okay.
And I think the ones that you can take away the most from are the people who say like things about you that you don't quite like, but that's because someone's just criticizing you, but they do it in like a respectful way.
Okay.
And really, the reason why they're criticizing you is because they are supportive of you and they want you to be the best you.
Right.
And I think those are the best comments to listen to, really.
Yeah, those resonate with me. I used to kind of ignore them, or I used to tell people I ignore them.
They really resonate with me now, because I don't know, I get really upset when I disappoint people.
Okay.
And so if someone, like a recent example is I started a new series on my channel called Drunk Advice.
Yes.
Where me and a friend get a bit wasted, and we ask Twitter for their advice questions, and hilarity ensues. And this long-time subscriber and supporter of me commented saying, like, I really like you, Hannah, but I think this video is like encouraging and glamorizing binge drinking. And you have a young audience, and I think that you should be more responsible with the things that you promote, and you're not being a good role model. And I was like, oh, whoa, oh God, yeah, okay. And I recognize the guy's username, like he's been around for ages. He's like has sent me music in the past to use in the background of videos. Like I have a good, like even though I've never met him, like I totally respect him and have a good relationship with that subscriber. And yeah, and I just suddenly was just like, oh God, I don't want to do that. Like the thing that you're accusing me of doing, like I really hope that I'm not doing that, and I don't think I am. And yeah, and so as a result of, I had like a mini interaction with him in the comments about it, where I kind of defended myself and saying that it's just me and a really close friend who care about each other getting drunk and the safety of a home. So we're not really promoting like drinking culture that much. But he said, okay, even though that's the situation, you're not like explicitly saying it. Like, by the way, only drink if you da da da. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And so yeah, the outcome of that conversation is that I'm gonna make like a separate video about drinking responsibly.
Okay. Will you continue with the drunken advice?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Well, I think the reason it bothers you is because you're a perfectionist and you care about your audience, and that's why you do these every week. I mean.
Yeah, and I don't, and I mean, I know that.
And he has a point.
Yeah, he 100% does have a point, and it's about. Even if I don't think I'm a role model, other people still look up to me. And so I have to like bear that in mind when I put certain things out online.
I didn't think about that, but I guess that's a point he makes. But at the same time, you are an artist and you have to express yourself, and people are
I still 100% stand by that video. And like, I will continue making Drunk Advice. And I think it's a really fun series. But I think he's like completely right, and I just need to very explicitly talk about drinking because it is important. And but then the thing with that is that I'm not really qualified to do that. Like I could make a video about how to drink responsibly and be like, you should do this and you should do this and should not do this and should not do this. But like if you go through that list, granted is I will have done the complete opposite of the advice that I have given at some point in my life. Right.
But you're going to make one anyways.
Of course.
Okay.
But I'll probably be honest about, but by the way, I have made all of these mistakes.
Right.
I've done all of these things.
Right. That will be good. And that'll be good to address it, I guess.
Yeah. I think like what's important for me is like that honesty and authenticity. With my audience,
It's tricky because like we started our show by talking about psychedelics, and we did ayahuasca and we did all this stuff, and then like lately I've been like dressing in suits and like going to see like guys in Scotland that are like coaching me on business, and so a certain part of my audience is like, Brian, what happened to you? And you sold out, and it's not about this, and so you're naturally going to have different fan bases that like you for different things, and sometimes they will be upset, and it's good to respond to them, but then also you have to be you. So
and I definitely do notice there's different like pockets of my audience that like different things.
Right.
So the on the videos that are around like topics of sex or sexuality and things like that, the gender split on those tends to be more equal.
Okay.
And then I've started, sometimes I make videos about books. I haven't done a lot of those. They tend to not do that well view-wise, but I get so many tweets and comments from girls asking me to make more videos about books. So there's this really like very small but very dedicated audience that want to hear me and see me talking about books.
About books, interesting.
Yeah, so and they love it. Like, and so it's like finding that balance of
what is the balance? Because like we're all addicted to views, whether we say it or not, on YouTube, because that's the metric that's pressed in front of our face, you know, by YouTube. I think Vimeo, like a year ago, took the view count off their videos. I know, and you had to like click through to find it. I think that was their way of saying that we make art here and we're not about the views. And so, and YouTube's changed their metrics over the years. I think on certain channel pages, it doesn't show the subs or views necessarily on the front page now. But like, how do you strike your balance between, say, reaching 600,000 people or reaching those 6,000 people that love your book reviews and you've changed their life, as opposed to those people that are just entertained for a few minutes and don't know who you are? Am I cutting to the core there? Yeah,
it's tricky. I think from talking to like a lot of my friends as well, it's about having that balance between this one is for me, this one is for you, or this one is for both of us. And, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's my channel. Like, I can put whatever I want on there. And people...
That's why people like you.
People can be mad about it, but ultimately they can't stop me. But I started a blog recently, and I've done, like, written book reviews on there.
Yeah.
So if people really want to know my opinions on books, they can go there. Because I don't think I would ever make one full video that's like a book review of one book, but I would do like a video about multiple books, like find a theme and like talk about lots. But then on my blog, I'll do like singular book reviews.
Okay. I think most artists do what you're saying. I think artists do that all the time. They'll do a you know, Brad Pitt says that. I'll do no, it was someone else that says I'll do a film for me and a film for you and a film for, you know, a film for Hollywood and then a film for me and that kind of thing. And so I think a lot of artists, you know, kind of think that way. You know, ideally they think about that way. But I was wondering, like with you, you said you can put up whatever you want. But you talk about sexuality and sexually charged issues. Yeah. And then you have videos talking about porn, sex toys, all this stuff. And you can find her at Hannah Witton. And so
the one about sex toys has been age restricted. Thanks, YouTube.
Well, and that's my next question. Yeah. What can and you can't do on YouTube? Where is the limit? I didn't know that.
Well, I tend to stick to the YouTube guidelines.
Which are what?
No nudity.
Okay. Is that the only thing?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. But you didn't have any nudity in the sex toy.
No, I actually appealed it, but they did not listen to me. Because I think that video is perfectly suitable for under 18s.
Okay. And is it they didn't like seeing the toys? Is that it?
They just said it's of like... I think it was like the sexual content type thing.
Okay. And so under 15s can't watch it or something?
Under 18s can't watch it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it can't be monetized as well. If it's age restricted, you can't monetize.
At all? That's just another way to kick you. There's no real reason for that, is there? Okay.
It's dumb.
Okay. So, all right, you're protesting that.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like, as soon as it was uploaded, it was age restricted. It'd been up for like ages until it got age restricted. I was like,
right.
What?
Yeah, they must have had comments or something because they can't even monitor.
The comments in it were great. People bloody loved it. I basically did it was like a haul or like an unboxing video that you see a lot of like beauty and lifestyle vloggers do.
Right. Except yours was sex toys.
Yeah, so I was just like, look at all these things.
Is there anything else you've done that's got restricted, or anytime you've pushed it, or is there anything you can do that will push it as long as it's not nudity?
That's the only one that's been age restricted. Okay. I've got a video that's me and my friend. The thumbnail is us topless and it like cuts off hair. Right. And the title is Naked in Public. Very clearly clickbait, obviously, but it's 100% relevant to the video because we're topless but like cut off hair in the video, and we're having like a really genuine and quite emotionally charged discussion about Why is it okay for men to be topless in public but not women, and the difference between male nipples and female nipples? Like, what's...
I watched the video. I didn't get to the nipples part, but I watched the first couple minutes. So, but you're saying that they restricted that thumb, or you're...
No, but I just that's probably like as close as I've got.
Okay.
And I think definitely a lot of people clicking on that video thought it was something other than what it was.
Okay.
But I like that they were like, ooh, yeah, great, naked girls. And then it's just like, we're going to talk today about feminism, guys. And
it's like the worst.
Like, what?
So what is your relationship with clickbait? How do you feel about that? You know, thumbs are important, titles are important.
Yeah.
Any YouTuber knows with any experience that the title can a lot of times make or break, or a thumb can make or break a video.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it kills you because you might have a good message in a couple different videos, but a title or a picture can make or break it.
I mean, it's important. I tend to go for the most like ridiculous thumbnail. It tends to be something that is in the video, so I won't like Photoshop a thumbnail.
Okay.
I'll just take a screen grab from somewhere in the video.
Okay.
But something that I think looks like the most exciting or the most raunchy, like, and then the title will just be whatever it is. But yeah, I guess I do like a lot of people, we're all like playing this game slightly. So whenever I do a Q&A video, instead of having the title of the video, Ask Hannah or Q&A, I will take whatever I think was the most sort of like interesting or exciting thing that I said in the video and use that as the title.
Right.
So I did a Q&A, like 2 examples, and one of them, someone asked me about like getting married, and I talked about like my views on marriage. And the title of the video is I'm Never Getting Married. And then in another one, someone asked me, would I ever date a fan? And that's the title of the video, like, would I date a fan?
Okay.
And they're grabbing titles, but actually there's only like a segment of the video that is about that. And like,
you're fine with that.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know that I do it. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, but...
No, you're not sorry. Look, it's YouTube practice. That's what a YouTuber does. You talk about sexuality, which is it always going to be a word that everyone squirms when you say? I mean, like, we have a history of Victorianism in this country. In America, we have Puritans. Like, people don't understand. The Puritans got pushed onto those boats, and they said, get out of England, go to America. And so, like, in America, I was just thinking about my childhood. Like, I don't remember any sexualized image anywhere in my suburban growing up. And so is it... I read your dissertation in the beginning, and you said that like our ideas of sexuality are biased by what we're told to feel about sexuality, and like this whole interesting concept that it's not like it's innate by any means.
No,
so
like it's all learned.
So like, what is this? I mean, are we always going to be squirmish about it? Are we getting better, or what are we learning? What do you know? What have you discovered from doing what you do, and why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I feel like people are too squirmish about sex, and I think that a lot of the problems that we have in society that are related to relationships and sex and reproduction, they tend to happen because of a lack of communication and a lack of empathy. And so those are the kind of things that I really do try and get across in my videos, which is about like leading by example, talking about sex, just being open about it and being unashamed and just being like, hey, I'm a young woman and it's okay for me to talk about these things and say all these things, and that doesn't make me a whore, it doesn't make me a slut, it just makes me a human. And then the other thing about empathy is just about like being able to relate to other people who are different to you. So, like, being able to empathize with, like, the LGBTQ plus community, even if you're not a part of that, and being able to recognize that even if certain issues, like, don't affect you, they're affecting somebody else, and, like, being an ally, I guess. Because Yeah.
So you kind of shock people into it because you're like, look, you're going to listen to me and I'm going to throw these things at you. And then they're going to have to deal with it. Because like, I watched that video Hannah did and like, and now it's in my head. And I mean, that's a success. That's a win for you if you get people to watch it, right?
Yeah, I think it's just about normalizing it, I think.
Okay.
It's about just making it okay. And because I put out a lot of videos about sex, people often like come to me for advice about certain things, which I'll sometimes answer. And most of the questions that I get and most of the responses that people need is all they need to know is that their sexual behaviors, their sexual orientation, their emotions, their feelings, and their bodies are normal.
Right.
The main question I get is, here's a bit of information about me. Am I normal? I did this. Is that normal? And the answer is yes. And also, I hate the word normal.
Right. I hate that word too. And it's also probably really simple information that they should already have.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like basics,
and it's just people like internally worrying about themselves and questioning their like identity and questioning like their value, being like, oh, I'm into this kind of porn. Is that normal? Does that make me disgusting? Should I be ashamed? Should I be embarrassed? And you're like, nah, you do you.
You do you.
You do you.
Do you think we're more messed up now than say in the Victorian era when supposedly people used to refer to their legs as limbs and all that stuff? Or do you think now, since we have like hardcore porn on demand and we have, you know, whatever, amplified images of female and male bodies, that we have a whole brand of new issues to deal with?
I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? There was probably stuff, porn in the Victorian age that at the time was shocking.
Right, like pictures.
Yeah. Disgusting pictures.
Relatively shocking.
And so I think that like we're experiencing the same thing now, but it's just there's different technology, there's different accessibility. We are talking about sex a lot more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I reckon the Victorians were a bunch of dirty wats.
Right, deep down. Yeah, but like that communication's different. Like they probably, like maybe they were talking, but it's like you couldn't go to a blog and talk about it, or you couldn't see a video about it.
No, but there were circles of society where you could talk about these things, but it tended to be very elitist.
Right, okay.
So if you were like a middle-class educated male, there were circles of people who would be researching and discussing sex.
Right. What do you think we're going to be in 25 or 50 years? Like if you look at, say, 25, 50 years ago, you know, we had this sexual revolution in the 60s and the 70s, and like what seems like we're coming so far. Like the Supreme Court is now recognizing gay marriage, and like, wow, that's a great concept. And like all these other things are coming. Like in 50 years from now, do you think it's going to be so much better? Will there be all this information out there? Will, you know, the 13-year-old girls that message you, will all those things be answered? Or is it always going to be a tricky piece for humans?
I don't know. I mean, I hope not. I hope that it does get better. But the historian in me just really wants to just rip apart the idea of progress anyways. Okay. Because I think the idea of progress is just a very, like, Western-centric thing.
It's a good point. So it doesn't exist. It's just change. It's not progress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Progress is problematic.
Is there, so there's progress doesn't exist? No. It's just a change.
We're getting very postmodern now.
Getting into a real debate here. No, but it's interesting. No, you have a real background in this. So, but a lot of people see you, I mean, you have a very interesting USP, as we call it in the tech around here, you know, because, you know, you're kind of the girl next door. You're very young, you're English, and you're presenting this point of view. You know, if you came across as a different, you know, if you showed up in the bondage thing and cracking the whip and saying what you did, people would have a different interpretation. But you have, you know your history and you know all these things, and you're presenting it in your way. Yeah. Which is different, right?
Yeah, I think it's that weird, like, shock factor. Because I think what people, like, tend to forget is that humans are multifaceted. And so they see me making videos about sex. But then I also can be really quite immature and giggly and nerdy. And if one person's only seen one side of that, they find it quite difficult to like realize.